Buddy, welcome to World Outside the Ring. Welcome to World Outside the Ring. This is Gabe, and aka the other guy, and I'm here back on the old couch. Those of you that have watched all the Beantown Beatdowns, this is the couch where Matt and I, do the show. I'm now back on the old couch for this segment. Today I'm going to be talking about drawing a line in the sand. Common expression as well, and those of you that are fight fans, will definitely appreciate that. When you do the weigh-ins, when you do the press conferences and stuff like that, you need to kind of show your opponent what's up, what's the straight dope, and it's a little bit different, obviously, but I would say that you're still drawing a line in the sand. You're still saying, this is what I will accept. This is what I won't. That's basically part of what fighting, is about. It's what we regular people wish we could do. Is fight like the fighters do when a line in the sand has been crossed. I think most of you know what that actually means, but let's get into it. When people say you need to draw a line in the sand, it means that you need to find out what exactly you will accept and what exactly you won't, and go from there. Be like, actually lay out, this is exactly, where the line is. And if you cross that line, you're done. You cross that line with me, you're done. You know what I mean? So, this happens in life. This happens, all over the place. Let me just make sure we're actually good. Okay, yeah. Anyway, continuing. So a line in the sand, be like, this point you come to, but no further. We do that in friendships, and we do that, in our everyday lives, and we do that at work too. At work you have to put up with a lot more, Matt's always asking, telling me, once this takes off, you'll quit your job, et cetera, et cetera. We all want to quit our job, but you can't a lot of times, and so or you have to wait until you can really have another job lined up before you can switch. So that's a different thing. There's a lot more you have to put up with, unfortunately. But something like a friendship, like a relationship, or just dealing with other people out in the world, you're allowed to have your boundaries. You're allowed to have your lines in the sand, and then, once you cross it, you get to decide what the consequences are for that. When someone else crosses it, and in fact, I think that's actually where the word comes from. When they cross you, in England, they say, "Oh, you're now I'm very cross." I'm very angry. We don't say that in America, but you do say, sometimes, "Oh, if you cross me, we're done." And as the song goes, if you cross her, then you cross me. You cross me, exactly. So, and that's also what we do for each other. That's about a relation. That sounds about a relationship. And yeah, if you cross her, in my case, if you cross him, if you cross my boyfriend, then yes, you cross me, and then you'll have to deal with the consequences of that. This, like I said, this just happens all over the place, and we're all better if we actually have a line in the sand, if we actually have that those things again, like our boundaries, and we stick to it. And yeah, sometimes in friendships, there's a whole back and forth. Sometimes a friend's not good at paying you back money, and you have to be like, I'm sorry, you have to pay me that back until before we can go back to the way things were. For instance, a friend maybe bails on your birthday party because someone that they wanted to have come doesn't, and something like that. You actually, I think you actually can't go be in the same place with them anymore after that. And then it's on them to make it right. It is on them to make it right. So people also respect you better when you do stand up for yourself, even if it's something they don't like. Most people will actually respect you better because you have your boundaries, you have your lines in the sand that and that there are actual consequences for it. And so even people that are trying to take advantage of you, they won't like it that you stand up for yourself, but they will respect you better. Every once in a while I bring up Star Trek on the show, so I'm going to bring up the Klingons. And when the Federation encounters Klingons, they have to there's certain things there's certain things that just won't work. They finally did get diplomacy with the Klingons, but it takes a long fucking time. And there was a whole argument in the most recent show in Star Trek Discovery, where where the science officer asked the Vulcans, what did you do? Because Vulcans, were basically the ambassadors before the Federation was around. They were the ambassadors of space, and that type of thing. And so anyway, the science officer asked, how did you handle it? And he was very reluctant to tell her how they handled it because the way of the Vulcans is very different than the way of the Federation. And anyway, they handled it by shooting back, or by shooting first, actually. Once they realized that they would only get shot at once they cross Klingon territory, then the Vulcans actually handled it by shooting first. And the Klingons obviously are they are actually about honor, even though they're usually depicted as stone cold, bloodthirsty warriors. That if you any of the series that goes into them more talks about that they're about honor, Qapla', good luck. So anyway, the Vulcans actually shot first when they would encounter them, and so yes, that's not something that the Klingons liked. No, that's not something the Klingons were hoping would happen. No, but that was actually the correct way to get the Klingons to respect them. That's how the Klingons ended up respecting the Vulcans. They didn't like it, but they, they're so hell bent on honor and so hell bent on, warfare that, that's the only language they understood. They only understood the language of shooting back, or shooting first. So that's what the Vulcans did. They didn't have the same, moral code as the Federation does, and so anything goes. Anything to better relations with especially hostile entities out there in space. So basically, like I said, even if someone doesn't like it, I think they'll respect you more and be like, oh, that's the line, you crossed it. You know what I mean? And when you do that, nothing is the same again. you've crossed. That's also saying you've crossed a line with me, and you can, and we can't go back. So you have to figure out your consequences, and follow through with them. And in relationships and friendships, that's very hard, but got to find a way. And it helps the other person too. That's what I think. Like, for instance, someone who doesn't who does bail on your birthday party, or who does, like, want to put their own thing into your social event. You have to tell them. Otherwise they won't know that what they did was wrong in your eyes. And they won't hopefully become a better person going forward after that. So anyway, that's the value of it, and that's why we continue to draw lines in the sand. A line in the sand, and once you cross it, things really are different. It's the same as in infighting as in the real world. So go out there and keep your boundaries, keep your boundaries pure, keep your boundaries your own, and figure out your own consequences for those that cross you. Because if you cross her, then you cross me. All right, see you later, fight fans.